look at NICOLAI, of course, get a chance to see all of those achievements thus far. I mean, it's a fairly consistent sort of results across the board, meeting and entering multiple phase 2 and finding themselves in top 16s previously. He's gone 2 places further, 2 places in the standings further, right here, right now in top 4. We have that Stockholm regional top 64 as well, and fantastic finishes at the ICs, and most recently into phase 2 at the Gdansk regional not too long ago. So definitely a player to keep an eye out for. And of course, we move over to UFFE there on the screen now.
Yeah, a lot of recent achievements for both of these players. And it's something that we see time and time again now. You know, a lot of these players who are coming to the top standings have got, you know, only these achievements in the past couple of years. You know, like we said, how much in popularity Pokemon has recently. Ross has already said it, you know, we've had nationals where, you know, we wouldn't have even dreamed of coming up with the amount of players that are attending these events. And it's great to see, you know, some of these players making a name for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, making a name for themselves despite already being in these positions before. I mean, even more of a household name. That's where, you know, when you become a regional champion, everyone's going to know that you've taken a little bit of history and part of the Pokemon regional sort of structure, Pokemon trading card game, and you are part of the overarching history of the game going forward. And it's amazing to just be part of that sometimes.
Well, you know, you like to think of yourself as in that bracket, right?
Certainly, I'm part of history.
Everyone loves Alex. Ooh.
Do I? Do they? Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
Well,
anyway.
I think so. Well, who knows? Who knows?
Look, they can join the ranks of regional champion as well if they just win 2 more rounds here. I mean, it's top 4A match. It's going to be a really good match. I mean, look, we've seen that kind of matchup between Charizard and Golden Gold before, earlier on today, in fact, with Drew Stevenson having overcome that Charizard EX deck. But this kind of unique take. We're going to see a lot of different combo pieces in NICOLAI's deck right now. I've had the pleasure of speaking to Jesper, who's piloting the exact same archetype, and there's a lot of combo pieces that we're going to shortly be seeing. We're getting a little glimpse of some of the cards in his hand right now even. Just noticing, you know, this Pheasantipity start, probably not ideal, but does have access to some of those supporters and key cards there. Prizes are being placed out here now. 2 Metal Energies on the right-hand side there for UFFE. We're going to keep an eye out on those because they're needed to attack. There's only 3 in deck, so that could be massive for the rest of this matchup. But at the same time, when you're taking prizes, we double 2 Buddy Poffins, that Fan, Rotom, and Hoot, something you don't always see in Charizard EX decks, but our players are ready. Active Pokemons are in place. There's a handshake. We're kicking things off in this top 4A match here at the Stuttgart Regional Championships.
Yeah, and it's NICOLAI that kicks us off here, just drawing that Pidgey. Not a bad Pokemon to top deck. Would have maybe rather the Buddy Poffin to go through the deck to maybe find something additional. And it's just a pass over to UFFE.
Yeah, not the best start, but does get the Pidgey down, as you mentioned. UFFE's going straight into the deck with that Nest Ball. We didn't really get a chance for NICOLAI to go through what has been prized, but just whilst UFFE is going through the deck, Ben, why don't you run me through exactly how Golden Go works?
So in your first initial turns, you want to be finding those Nest Balls and those Buddy Poffins to start getting set up. You are an evolving deck after all, but it's that Solrock and Lunatone, that new addition from our Mega Evolutions set previous to Phantasmal Flames, that's really put Goldengo on the map. You can remain with a single prize board while still taking prizes thanks to that Cosmic Beam Solrock. This is something that UFFE is going to be eyeing up, you'd imagine, this turn, if you can find a Boss's Orders or maybe a Gusting option to knock out that Pidgey. And yeah, I mean, looking at the key features of the deck, there's so much draw, there's so much engine to this deck to find additional cards from your deck. You have the coin bonuses we've all known and loved in the past, but now it's that Lunar Cycle, and it's so synergistic. You get to discard energy, you know, it's abundance of energy, and there's the Boss's Orders for a Cosmic Beam knockout on the Pidgey. This is such a strong start for UFFE.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're giving NICOLAI an opportunity to use Flip the Script here, as we do see, there you go, a card we don't often see in a Charizard deck, that Terrapagos EX, really sort of gleaming there on the bench. We do get an Iono instantly played as well. Of course, NICOLAI, this is your second turn, so now can play supporters. Couldn't play that Iono on his first turn, but we do have Flip the Script as well. So we're going to see 9 fresh new cards here as we just kind of get the final couple of cards from the Iono. So he's got the 6 in hand now. We are flipping the script, trying to turn up the tables on the head here. So we haven't yet seen any search cards from NICOLAI's side. He hasn't even seen any Charmanders.
There's other Hoot Hoots
right now. Does get one of his Hoot Hoots down, and we're in a position to have to pass again. UFFE, what else can we do here? Didn't get any Gimmighoul's down.
No, and it doesn't need to at this point. I think what he's going to be eyeing up is another boss's orders, possibly on the Hoot Hoots or the Pidgey at this point. You know, he's in a real advantageous position, despite the fact he does not have any Gimmighoul on the bench, because you're able to keep that one prize board state. I would like to think that UFFE is going to be prioritizing getting some Gimmighoul down this turn to start taking some 2 prize knockouts on his subsequent turns. And just going through the deck once more, the Earthen Vessel will find a Metal Energy and a Fighting Energy. Prioritizing that Metal maybe for next turn. Like I said, you will want to be starting evolving into those Gold Dengos after this turn. But I mean, finding Boss here would be absolutely massive.
Yep, does play the 3 copies of Boss in his list. But with Lunar Cycle, we may be able to find a way to draw straight into it if we're able to discard that Fighting Energy and draw 3. Got plenty of energies in hand now, but here we go. Lunar Cycle could be a massive 3 cards here. The coin just kind of countering that. There's a Boss's Orders.
Boss's Orders. Just one of the gusting options that UFFE does play. Does also have the Prime Catcher as an option for gust as well. And there's the Hoot Hoot going down to a Cosmic Beam. And UFFE putting himself in the driving seat in this top 4 game.
Yeah, no Gimmighoul down now, but has taken a second prize, going really sort of prize mapping for the 2-2-2 as an opportunity here. Pidgey going into the ad spot. Instant return of the Pidgeot being evolved up with that rare candy there as well. And it's now just on NICOLAI to try and really stem the flow. I mean, there's no Gimmighoul, so there's no real big threat if you can maybe take out this Soul Rock, because UFFE is going to still need to find those Gimmighoul's at some stage to evolve up to the Golden Ghost.
Yeah, you're putting his damage cap to only 70 with this Cosmic Beam. So no Gimmighoul on the bench will mean no big knockouts on any 2 prize Pokemon, as we've already established. But I still think UFFE is in a great position, despite that fact. He still has that single prize board state, and NICOLAI still not taking any prizes. But I would like to think he has to start putting the pressure down now. Another attachment to that Terapagos will put him in a position where he can start at least attacking and putting some damage on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we do get the Buddy Puff in for the selection of 2 Charmanders. We will need to use some of those big, tanky Charizard EX Pokemon to actually start swinging away at some stage, because that's where you're doing a lot of damage. Who also comes down. We do have the Area 0 Underdepths as well. So now with, of course, that Terapagos EX in play, we can expand our bench up to 8, which is a great way of kind of being able to just prepare ourselves as we do eye up that Duskull as well. So we've fitted in so many different cards. Dawn also coming down. I haven't really even seen Dawn in any of the games I've casted.
This is a fantastic card in this deck because there are so many pieces that you have to put together. You're playing multiple stage 1s, you're playing multiple stage 2s, and Dawn really helps you keep up with that momentum in this match. At least you're able to search out cards like Hoot Hoot for that Jewel Seeker. You're able to find really important basic Pokemon that unlocks a lot of your deck, like that Area 0 Underdepths and your multiple stage 2s, your Dusknoir, your Pidgeot, your Charizard. This is the perfect deck for this card.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice way to unlock so many different pieces here. Looks like we've pissed up the Jet Energy as well. We're maneuvering the Terapagos EX into the active spot. We're going to swing away at this Soul Rock. You know, UFFE's board isn't actually that set up right now, and he can't draw cards unless he finds another Soul Rock once again. And that hand hasn't been that strong. It's been a lot of energies. Does top deck the Artisan. That's a massive pickup here, because that's one way to get another Soul Rock into play. But we forgot, one Soul Rock is prized. One now knocked out in the discard. That's not going to be the easiest way to get anywhere at all. But first, let's finish off the action of once an Artisan comes into play, NICOLAI does have to discard from his board state, going back down to 5 Pokemon on his board.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily going to be worried about taking any prizes this turn. He's already got those really important 2 prizes to put himself ahead of the prize race. Now it's just getting set up for those Gold Dengos in the subsequent turns. He needs to start finding his Buddy Puffin. He needs to start finding maybe a Nest Ball for the Gimmighoul's. Artisan is a great pickup, but there's still a lot to do for UFFE. He doesn't want to be in a position where NICOLAI takes 2 more prizes at this point before UFFE gets anything sort of set up.
Yeah, it does get that nest ball for that Pheasantipity EX as well. We know it has that fantastic ability. Flip the script, allowing you to draw 3 cards when one of your Pokemon have been knocked out on your opponent's last turn. So this is another way for UFFE really to just kind of draw multiple cards on this current turn to really set up that board state, because right now, because he hasn't been able to get any Gimmiggles down on a first or second turn of the game and was really just swinging away with the Soul Rock, we really need to have this turn. That's so important to just get these Pokemon down. Hits another Gimmighoul, so does have 2 on the board state now, which is a fantastic pickup.
Yeah, that is a great draw there, finding the Gimmighoul without having to find any sort of buddy pop. And oh, and there's the Professor's Turo picking up the Pheasantipity. I was just about to make the point that NICOLAI would have loved to have seen that Pheasantipity come on boards to take an additional 2 prizes. Does top deck the boss's orders, can take 1 Gimmighoul out of the session right now. And over to NICOLAI. What is he going to make here? He's going to opt to go through a Jewel Seeker, looking through his deck to find 2 trainer cards. As long as you have that terrestrialized Pokemon in play. Can't use Artis on this turn as well. He is bench locked at this point. So does he go for the Rare Candy Charizard at this point, or is he going to go for that Dusknoir?
I wonder which direction NICOLAI is going to take. I mean, being able to effectively take 3 cards out of your deck of your choosing, of course, the Noctowl is limited to trainer cards. So any 2 trainer cards, so long as you have that terrestrial Pokemon in play, but then still has access to that Pidgeot EX's quick search as well. So let's see the direction that we're going down here. That Rare Candy looks like a pickup. Now,
something that just came to mind, this is going to be very dangerous at this point for UFFE. If he is able to find the Dusknoir, is going to be able to pop off on one of these Gimmighouls here. Does have the boss's orders in hand to be able to gust this second Gimmighoul here as well to remove any threat on the board for NICOLAI. And this would be an absolutely massive play if he's able to pull it off here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be a big turn, because we know we that have that boss's orders already in hand can then just leave UFFE with just that Lunatone in the active spot. Again, we get the Area 0 Underdeaths back online. Here we go. There's the Rare Candy Charizard straight up to use Infernal Rain now to power itself up with some fire energies onto itself right now. It does have that Burning Darkness attack, which we know and love and have seen for so long now. That ramps up as your opponent takes more prizes. There's a Charmeleon as well, really sort of protecting the board. Rare Candy, Dusknoir, Curse Blast online, boss's orders.
This is a humongous play from NICOLAI, with the fact that UFFE was unable to find any sort of extra outs to any Gimmighoul here. NICOLAI, Curse Blast onto that Gimmighoul on the bench. Boss's orders, the additional one. This takes any problems that NICOLAI may have had next turn, and leaving UFFE with no option to take 2 prizes next turn, because there are no options to get any Goldengo on the field.
Yeah, this is looking pretty dicey here for UFFE right now. I mean, just has that, or just will end up with that Lunatone on the board with that fighting energy, as we do get a nice stretcher as well. Maybe just kind of semi-prepping either a Noctowl or maybe even another Duskull back once again, just to kind of prep it for any further threats that UFFE may try to utilize on the board state. There's the Noctowl. We know how important that was. It was knocked out previously by that Solrock's Cosmic Beam. This is turning into a fantastic turn there. There is an announcement, Terrapagos EX with the knockout on the active, that Unified Beatdown, dealing plenty of damage, and UFFE's just got a lot to do here in this scenario with just that Lunatone.
Yeah, this is a pretty sad state of affairs for UFFE now. I don't know which approach he takes at this point. With 2 Gimmighoul in the discard pile, he does have 2 in the deck. Has to prioritize getting some Buddy Poffin and perhaps some sort of recovery from the extra for the extra Gimmighoul in the discard pile. He's safe knowing that there are no Duskull on the field for NICOLAI, so he won't be able to do any sort of Curse Blasts for any sort of additional damage on field. Yeah, does go for that Super Rod. You'd imagine those 2 Gimmighouls going straight back in the deck, maybe even a Fighting Energy as well as an extra out to Lunar Cycle.
Yeah, one of those things that UFFE could potentially try and do, and maybe why he's still playing it out as well, maybe if NICOLAI misses a necessary knockout, if we could find a way to knock out that Noctowl that remains on the board right now. It has 70 HP. That's pretty simple for something like that Solrock to knock out with that Cosmic Beam, especially with that Fighting Energy attack that could be attached to it as well, with a Prime Catcher to gust it up. that could still put UFFE down to 2 prizes remaining and make it a little bit more difficult for NICOLAI maybe to find a knockout for 3 prizes. But again, this is just some of the outs and percentages that you have to play for. So let's just see the direction we take on from here on out.
Yeah, like you said, if he is able to find some gust on this Hoot Hoot here, it puts himself only 2 prize cards away from taking the game. And the fact that NICOLAI can no longer use any sort of Curse Blast, at least you're in a good position that way. But it still remains. UFFE still needs to find some Gimme Ghoul to put on the bench for a big 2 prize knockout.
Yeah, I know it's been a bit of a theme for us this weekend and us drawing circles and many different various shapes. Someone's called out that was a nice citrus berry for you there, Ben, from that drawing. But we do get that fighting gong now, grabbing another fighting energy. Straight into the hand, of course, a fantastic inclusion for these decks that allow you to grab a basic fighting Pokemon or a fighting energy as instead. So it gives you kind of duality in terms of usage, which is really nice.
Yeah, it has to thin the deck out as much as possible at this point to try and find those outs. And here's the big Lunar Cycle, a huge 3 cards here from UFFE. What do you get? You got the Arven, that's useless.
Gimme Ghoul.
Gimme Ghoul, another fighting Gong as well. I really, really doubt this Gimme Ghoul is going to be able to survive next turn. He needs the security to find another Pheasantipity coming down as well. At least you're safe knowing that any extra... There's the Buddy Buddy pop in off the top as well. 2 Gimme Ghoul coming down, drew into 1 as well. At least he's leaving a board state with 3 on board. Using the Arven isn't ideal. You would have liked to boss his orders on that Hoot Hoot, like we said. I'm unsure, actually, if he did have the Prime Catcher in hand. That would be really good right now.
That would be one way to kind of, again, push him down to 2. That would kind of leave an awkward scenario where you have the 2 prizes on your board state. It's just going to be a retreat here into the Soul Rock and a Cosmic Beam onto the active Terapagos. 70 damage, you know, it isn't affected by anything like resistance or weakness. So it's just a base 70 there, despite Terapagos being weak to fighting as well. We do get a Pidgeot, ooh, just kind of second guessing himself. Pidgeot Quick Search being utilized here, being able to cherry pick any card you'd like from the deck. So this is going to be quite an important pickup here. You know that Pheasantipity is kind of waiting on the back burner, on the bench there. We do get the second Charizard EX ready, up and running as well. So again, Infernal Rain gets 1 energy attachment. So only 1 energy is available there. But when you have access to Super Rods and Night Stretchers, you usually can get them back. So you have 2 big Pokemon swinging away when you need to.
Yeah, I'm going to retract the previous comments about knocking out the Hoot Hoot, because then that would enable NICOLAI to do any sort of Briar plays, actually putting himself on 2 prize cards. So yeah, good hindsight there. And knocking out the Solrock with that Terapagos Unified Beatdown, taking a well-earned knockout there, putting himself 2 prizes away from taking game. And with that Pheasantipity on board, it does leave UFFE with a problem on the board state. And here's a scoop, and NICOLAI takes the first game in our top 4.
Yeah, fantastic display of this very unique take on Charizard EX there. We didn't see it in full flow because obviously we didn't see things like that fan Rotom being able to pick up the right pieces. We get a chance to see exactly what went down here. That Terapagos was really kind of the main option to attack, using Unified Beatdown to really just wipe out the only attack or only threat in play from UFFE's side of the board. And it was this particular turn, once we were able to establish our Duskulls and the Charizard EX just kind of ready as well with Infernal Rain, but we also had that rare candy into the Dusknoir. We had that Curse Blast ready to go. Boss's orders on one of the Gimme Ghouls, Curse Blast on the other. Doesn't matter if I'm giving a prize to you, I'm taking out both your potential threats. And from then onwards, it was just a full-on steam train straight through UFFE's board state.
UFFE really needs to keep up with the prize race, right? That's the way that Goldengo is able to keep up with these sorts of builds. But for NICOLAI, you know, showing off the strength of this deck, it's so sequence heavy. But if you're able to find those pieces, you know, you are just going to be able to steamroll, like you rightly said, over your opponents, regardless of what they're playing. Because you play the Noctowl, because you play the Pidgeot, you unlock so much potential with such a big range of cards in our format.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what makes this take a little bit more unique as we get a chance to have a glimpse of the prizes now. Again, nothing too crazy from UFFE's side. You know, a couple of those nest balls useful to get pieces like those Soul Rock Lunatones, like the Genesect, and then on NICOLAI's side as well, also a couple of those nest balls there. Pheasantivity, we know how important that was. We do kick things off. This is game 2 of our top 4A match here. Looks like NICOLAI starting us off. He opens that Fan Rotom, so we'll be able to use Fan Call on that first turn, which is probably exactly what you're after when you're piloting this deck.
Boy, what a start from NICOLAI there. Not only starting with that Fan Rotom, with that Fan Call ability, but also having the Buddy Poppin in hand to find those crucial Charmander and Duskull if he needs to. And, you know, being that, you know that UFFE is going to be going for that Cosmic Beam turn 1 to settle a 1 prize board state. So you feel pretty safe with only 1 Charmander on board. You have multiple Pokemon that can attack in, you know, comparison to your average Charizard deck with cards like Terrapago CX. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a great start from NICOLAI.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just double checking all those prizes. We didn't really get a chance to run through Charizard EX before. You know, we've mentioned the attack, we've mentioned the ability already, how powerful Infernal Rain and Burning Darkness is. And of course, comboed usually just with that Pidgeot EX's quick search ability. But this take from NICOLAI and a few others, I should say, with that Fan Rotom, with the Terrapagos EX, with the Noctowl package, and a Finn Dusknoir package as well, kind of gives you so many different means to dealing with multiple different board states. So you are very kind of reactionary to what your opponent is doing and playing. But it works perfectly. Here's the Fan Call, for example, how it all synergizes together, because it allows you to grab 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, grabbing you that Hoot-Hoot, grabbing you that Pidgey, grabbing you the Noctowl for the next turn. The only thing we're going to need on the next turn to use the Jewel Seeker ability is a terrestrial Pokemon, which I'm sure there's going to be a way to do so. But over to UFFE after a pass, there comes a Buddy Poffin, which was exactly the card he's been missing from that game 1.
Yeah, this is a much better start for UFFE, going to find those gimme goals instantly with that Buddy Poffin, a much better setup than he had in that last game. You know, he's going to have to keep up with NICOLAI's board state at this point, but at least there is so many different options to take prizes with that Cosmic Beam at this point. Maybe a boss's orders on that Pidgey, or maybe even that Hoot-Hoot, knowing that that is the main engine of this deck would be really fantastic. UFFE does play a plethora of gusting options, as well as that prime catcher of choice as the ace spec of choice in this Goldengo list. Not a card that we see often. Usually we're seeing either the Precious Trolley or the Secret Box, and with that Fighting Gong is able to find the Lunatone and a Fighting Energy. This is a great start.
I think there might be even a Nest Ball in hand as well. Yep, there you go. So that's way we're going to just get a full board of those single prizes once again, as we've kind of mentioned, but having the multiple sort of Fighting Gong did allow him to get the energy also into hand. So he can decide now whether he wants to start swinging away with Cosmic Beam. If we have 2 Fighting Energy, that'll be perfect, because then we can use one of them for Lunar Cycle as well, just to kind of really get your game going and start drawing through your deck. That's typically what Goldengo EX wants to do. I mean, we didn't even see it really. The last one, he does have 2 Fighting Energies there. Lunar Cycle for an additional 3 cards. That's fantastic. Oh, hello, what a pickup there with the Goldengo EX for future turns as well. There's the Fighting Energy attachment. Will we see the boss's orders hit? No, it's just
no, just go for the knockout.
Yep, there, just a knockout for now. Cosmic Beam knocking out that Fan Rotom. Pidgey into the active spot now. This is where it could be a little bit tricky. NICOLAI does need to find that terrestrial Pokemon. Do we have any way to get it into hand right now?
He did pick up... Oh, no.
He's got is it Rare Candy Pidgey already in hand? So it's not really too much of a problem. He could then go grab something like a Nest Ball with that quick search, get Terrapagos EX, get that Noctowl live with Jewel Seeker. That's one way to go about things. Or will he take a bit of a more slower, measured approach? This is going to be real interesting to work out and see.
I'm keen to understand why UFFE didn't go for the boss on that last play. I mean, taking out there's so many different good options that he could have knocked out there. You know, knocking out the Pidgey would have been good to at least mitigate any sort of upcoming engine, as well as the Hoot-Hoot as well. Disabling NICOLAI from using any Jewel Seeker this turn, and the Charmander as well is the only attacker that he has on board. It's the only acceleration he has as an option to start taking some prizes. So, you know, keeping it in hand and reserving it from a different time, but I'm unsure what that time is. I don't know when would be best to keep that boss's orders in this circumstance.
Yep, there comes the Terapos there. Oh, just got a little bit of information on the screen for everyone as well. In the other top 8 match that is still ongoing following Christian coming through that asymmetrical top cut. Is currently 1-0 with his Dragapult Dusknoir deck up against Irvin's Charizard deck. He knows that's not necessarily a matchup we always want to see, but if there's going to be one Charizard player who can maybe turn it around, it will be Irvin. But yes, right now in that top 8 match, Christian is 1 game up against Ovind.
Yeah, and I still keep going back to this boss player. It just keeps running through my mind at this point, because with the fact that NICOLAI has the Duskull and the Charmander on board, he gives himself the option of taking out 2 of these gimme goals as he'd had in the last turn, if he's able to find the pieces. 1 Gust, 1 Rare Candy into Dusknoir would be fantastic for NICOLAI, and UFFE just kind of let it happen at this point.
Well, yeah, we're going to see exactly the direction we're going down, as we do see the Rare Candy for that Charizard straight up to allow Infernal Rain to come raining down with his own fire energies, and then being able to swing away for massive damage with that Burning Darkness. Right now, at a base 180 plus 30, because UFFE has taken a prize, will be dealing 210 damage. No key targets at the moment. Area 0 Underdex has also come into play, allowing NICOLAI to expend and kind of grow that board to 8 now, that bench board that's kind of remaining there. Gets another Hoot down, which is so vital. Another Charmander is another key piece. Another cool inclusion is that newer Phantasmal Flames Charmander, which has that fantastic agile ability. If it has no energy attached, it has no retreat cost, which is kind of cool as well. Not something you'd see too often, because you want to be using those 70 HP Charmanders, but here comes the Charizard EX in the active spot, Ben.
Yeah, and at least UFFE is safe knowing that a single prize is taken at this point. If he's able to find a response knockout on this Charizard, this would put him in a much, much better position. Good thing for NICOLAI was able to find the Charmander on board. It is his only acceleration to get energy on the board and to start attacking. But I mean, look at NICOLAI's board state. It's so intimidating, isn't it? I mean, look at the amount of options he has to him. The Hoot, you know, we look at the Noctowl anyway, don't we, with the Jewel Seeker ability and the Quick Surge. It opens up so many different options for him, despite, you know, whatever your opponent's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many pieces that can happen here. But one thing we have to keep an eye out for, this isn't your typical Charizard EX deck. You can potentially end up with 3 cherry-picked cards of your own because of that Noctowl, because of the Pidgeot EX. And then when you're already accelerating energy, maybe you're not even that far from finding a way to evolve up to that Dusknoir. We spoke about that combo earlier with Dusknoirs into Briars and into sort of awkward, big, massive knockouts. Maybe that's one direction. But for the moment, here comes a coin bonus. 2 cards already gone. There's the Nest Ball coming down as well, which is going to be maybe getting another Soul Rock so we can continue drawing more cards through the deck. We have Pheasantipity down as well, so we have that option as an additional flip the script draw. Here comes the Fighting Gong, Fighting Energy also to hand now, so Lunar Cycle is available at the same time. So many card draws just from one single turn.
This really is the kickoff turn for UFFE. As we've always said, you like to keep a single prize board, but look at the 2 prizes that UFFE's put on board at this point. He's put the 2 Goldengo down, he's put the Pheasantipity down. This confirms he is safe. He is safe knowing that if he can find the knockout on this Charizard, at least he puts himself 2 prizes up in this game. He feels confident at this point that this is the turn. This is the point I find that big knockout and swing the game in my favor.
Yeah, love those potato drawings there from Benjamin. But we're seeing some more pairs, are they? See some more draw from the flip the script. Have we picked up enough pieces to take a massive knockout here? Remember, Make It Rain is 50 times the number of energies you discard from your hand. More coin bonus. First of all, Superior Energy Retrieval hit from the left, and a Prime Catcher could make things real interesting if we can find a way to utilize that at some stage as well. Double checking how many energies are in that discard pile for himself, just in case he needs to use that Superior Energy Retrieval. Does already have a couple in hand, it looks like, but no Metal Energy yet. 3 Fighting Energy in the discard pile. Does that mean we're not going to get an attack off? That could be massive if we're not able to swing away here and really just continue to apply so much pressure to his opponent's board. There's a Fighting Gong now. It's just going to be another Fighting Energy being grabbed, it looks like, but I can't see a Metal Energy there, Ben.
No, this will be really heartbreaking if UFFE isn't able to find any sort of attack at this point, because he's already committed the retreat into another Goldengo, which is, as we know, a 2 prize Pokemon. And if NICOLAI is is able to find maybe a boss's orders for that Pheasantipity on the bench. You'd imagine looking at that board state with the Pidgeot, with the Hoot Hoot already prepped and ready, is going to be able to find some sort of gusting option to put himself 3 prizes ahead in the race. So yeah, if UFFE, this is the turn. Like I said, this is where UFFE's kicked off. This is his kickoff turn. Oh no,
that's telling. That's a big tell. When you get the attachment onto the Soul Rock, it does just mean that you're telepathing that knockout. But he is targeting down the Duskull, so I quite like this as well, limiting what sort of NICOLAI could do and manipulate the prize cards with a Cosmic Beam on that Duskull there, at least continuing his sort of 2-2-2 prize map for the moment. But the scary thing is, if he does eventually unlock NICOLAI's Briar without really NICOLAI doing too much, but just by going down to 2 prizes, that could be another factor that we'll see shortly as well. But over to NICOLAI, let's see how you're going to handle this turn.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, the Briar player is going to be the key factor at this point, with UFFE taking those 2 prizes, taking that 1 prize instead of a 2-prize Pokemon. And for NICOLAI now, no Duskmar going to be an option for him either. 3 cards from Flip the Script. I think I saw the Prime Catcher there.
You did. We saw a Prime Catcher, so that could be a nice pick. Easy sort of choice to try and target down another 2-prizer like that Pheasantipity, which is in range of a Burning Darkness now dealing a base 240 damage.
Yes.
Because 2 prizes have been taken, so that could be an easy 2-prizer there. And then just manipulating yourself in a way where you could find yourself able to utilize something like that Briar, do that legalized cheating kind of thing, where you're taking additional prizes just from a knockout. And that's one way to kind of navigate this game, as we do get the Charmeleon coming down, the Quick Search now being utilized as well. Those 2 Noctowls are a massive threat just because of how great of a support card they can be, with so many sort of terrestrial Pokemon currently in play as well. Just cherry-picked a card there. Couldn't quite see exactly what that was. I'm not too sure if you got a glimpse of that, Ben.
Nope. Didn't see that, sorry. Does have boss's orders and Prime Catcher,
might have been
another Charizard and the Noctowl in hand. This is pretty good for
boss's
NICOLAI.
orders just for now as well. Maybe that's just an easier way without having to expend the Prime Catcher. There you go. That's the big target on its back right now. That Pheasantipity with enough damage that you're dealing with that Burning Darkness. You're going to be swinging away, taking 2 prizes. Burning Darkness announced, down to 3 prize cards remaining. 3 prize cards away from making the final here at the Stuttgart Regional Championships. UFFE is going to need to find some massive knockouts and also some way to just stem the flow a little bit here.
I'm unsure I can see any way out for UFFE at this point. NICOLAI has the Duskull already prepped on the bench, and UFFE's in no position to take that knockout. 1 prize isn't going to help you at all at this point. And with already a Charmeleon on the bench, he has another Pokemon he can take knockout with, despite the fact that already another Charizard in the active as well. For UFFE, this is pretty difficult as a board state can be. I think last turn was really where he had to gain momentum in this game, and unfortunately missing that. You know, this is... I don't know if he can recognize or even identify a way forward in this game.
But you're going to have to play to your outs right here, right now. He's used the Artisan, which does impact NICOLAI's board. He does lose the Pheasantipity and a Hoot Hoot there as well. He's kept the Duskull. Took a bit of a moment to make that decision because it's such an important scenario to be in, because utilizing Curse Blast from either the Dusclops or the Duskmar can be so pivotal in trying to make your prize mapping work. But then this is what the board state he's left himself with that Pidgeot, with that Hoot Hoot, with that Duskull right now, as we do see a superior energy retrieval from UFFE. We do see a Lunar Cycle. Can we find the Metal Energy? We hit the Earthen Vessel, so at least we're going to be swinging away with a Golden Goat EX right here, right now as well. But then it's just whether we find enough energy cards to take a knockout.
I think his only option at this point is to try and mitigate the play with the Duskmar to take a knockout on one of the single prizes and then take an additional 2 on one of these Golden Goes. I think UFFE really needs to prioritize this Pidgeot EX right here, only because it limits any potential plays here. With that Quick Search ability, we know how strong it is to be able to find those final pieces. NICOLAI still needs Rare Candy. He still needs the Duskmar. So at least taking out that Pidgeot, you're lowering the chances, if not just a little bit.
I just saw 3 random circles on the screen there, Ben.
Right, I'm going to draw on your face in a minute.
Right. I mean, it was just all over the place. Anyway, but yeah, I think you're right. It is important to try and maybe take down that Pidgeot. We know we have... Oh, no, we used the Prime Catcher, didn't we?
We've used the Prime Catcher, so it's only boss's orders that are going to be an option. So finding those energy cards are just going to be made that a little bit more difficult. No supporters to find any sort of extra energy, but at least drawing into those earthen vessels this turn will be beneficial to try and find additional, of course.
We did get that one-off Dark Energy, you know, utilized just for that Monkey Dory that UFFE plays, as we do see a coin bonus for one additional card there as well. What did we get? It looks like an Arven.
Yeah.
So that's probably not going to help from this scenario. Do we get something like that Boss's Orders?
I feel like you have to play the Boss's Orders here. You're
do we have one?
Yeah, we definitely have the Boss's Orders.
Fine,
yeah.
Fine. I'll believe you.
Or maybe going for the Arven. I mean, I'd go for the Boss's Orders. I mean,
if there is one.
Yeah. No, the Boss's Orders is there.
Okay, there you go.
I was right.
So he was just picking the Arven to be discarded, just to get those energies. Yeah, I think you have to go for the Pidgeot. Like you said, just to limit any sort of chance that NICOLAI might have, just to cherry pick what he would like. Yeah, that Boss's Orders is being eyed up right now. We'll need 6 energy cards, but can only target down the Terrapagos. Maybe only has access to 5 energy cards in his hand.
At least with this Terrapagos, you're not...
Oh, just choosing. Maybe not even to knock it out for the moment.
Didn't have enough energy?
I think there was one more there, but... Yeah, this is kind of an interesting decision here with 200 damage. There was one more energy in hand, but maybe just trying to trap the Terrapagos for the moment.
I would have thought so. I mean, if you're not going to be able to find knockout this turn, I guess this is the best option to you. Terrapagos with a 2 energy requirement to get to retreat out of the active, but does play quite a lot of jet energy, I will say, NICOLAI. But I'm really unsure for UFFE at this point. And here comes the quick surge. Rare Candy, Dust Noir, and with this jet energy, we'll be able to find game at this point if he does already have it in hand. The Dust Noir being popped off on one of either the Lunatone or the Solrock. You see here, there's a smaller HP Pokemon here, 110 HP, will be within range of the Curse Blast, putting NICOLAI only 2 prize cards away, with this Goldengo already in the active, making it susceptible to a Burning Darkness for game.
Yeah, absolutely. We get the Noctowl right now, being able to cherry pick 2 pieces, does pick up the Rare Candy, so it looks like we're going in that direction. Can choose either or, that's Solrock or Lunatone. There comes an Ultra Ball as well, but I think we already have the Dusknoir in hand. Rare Candy, Dusknoir, Curse Blast is live. Prime Catcher available as well on any of the Golden Goes, and I think that should be more than enough when you're giving away a prize from the Curse Blast as well. Your opponent then has taken 3 prize cards, plus 90 plus your 180, you're dealing 270. There's Curse Blast on the Solrock. That's a massive knockout, down to 2 prizes remaining, and it's just a Burning Darkness. He just needs to announce it. There it is. Burning Darkness, 270 damage. Handshake. NICOLAI makes it all the way to your final here at the Stuttgart Regional Championships.
What a dominant display from NICOLAI, really showing the power of the engines that he has available to him. Has the quick search, has the Jewel Seeker as well. So many different combination plays that he's shown off in both games there. You know, all credit to him. It's a lot to ask for a player